Hi, I'm Danny and these are my Diecast Disasters. In this video I'm going to be restoring this little Matchbox Ferrari F40. The quintessential 1980s supercar. Ferrari produced these from 1987 until 1982 and Matchbox produced their version from 1988 until 2000. The first few Matchbox releases were nice red ones, but they did move on to produce some more crazy coloured ones. There was a gold one and a blue and pink one. Taking a look at our example here off of the turntable, you can see this has seen a bit of action. Plenty of that paint job has been all chipped away. It looks like it's been for a few swims in some muddy water. Those wheels are looking really tired. The rear spoiler is bent. The plastic base underneath is looking pretty good. It's just a bit grubby. And the main thing wrong with this car, I'd say, is this windscreen. I don't know if it's perished there or whether that's just dirt. And it's also quite yellowed, so we'll have to see what we can do about that. I'll crack on and take the car apart. I'll drill out the single post at the front here. And then I can take the base off the car and disassemble it. Rusty old suspension plate there. The grubby interior. And the worn out old looking windscreen there. There's that little post in the center holding it in there, but I'm not going to have to drill it out. There's a little bit that's broken off from somewhere. Luckily it's not visible. This makes me wonder how brittle it all is. So before I do anything else, I'm going to tackle this windscreen because I don't have a replacement, and if I can't get it looking good there's no point in continuing. So I give it a good wash, and it's actually looking better than I thought it was going to. I thought the opaque areas might be the perished plastic, but they were just dirt and mud. It's a little bit yellowed though, so I'm going to try retro brighting it. I cover it with some hydrogen peroxide paste here. Next I'll just seal it up in this little snap lock bag here, and then I put it out in the sun, or you could use a UV light, and this was left for a few hours and this is how it came out. I think it's definitely less yellowed. Unfortunately it did go a little opaque in a couple of areas at the back there. I think I might have just left it a bit too long, so if you're going to try it, just keep an eye on it. So I've given it a polish here with some Autosol, and I'm just going to finish it off with a nice dip in the self-shining floor polish. And there we go. You can let me know whether you think it looks much better in the comments down below. Now that I know the windscreen's going to be usable, I can move on with the rest of the car. I'll start with the body. Use some poly stripper to strip off all that chipped paint there. Here it is after paint stripping. It's a couple of scraps of paint on there and some oxidation, so I'll give it a go over with the wire brush on my rotary tool. And here it is, looking a bit more shiny and clean. Next thing to do is fix that bent spoiler at the back there. I just use a piece of metal with some rubber on it to bend it up straight carefully. And there we go, that's looking a bit better. Next I'll move on and paint the car. I start with a undercoat of black paint. And I'm going to be painting my Ferrari red because they only ever came out in red, and I think they should only ever be red, really. It was given a couple of coats of nice red paint. And here it is, starting to look much more like a Ferrari. I printed out some little tiny badges on some A4 paper, and here's the front badge. I've cut it out and I'll just apply it using a tiny bit of PVA glue. There we go, I've got it just right. Damn it. After a little bit of fiddling, here it is, stuck on the front. I did try to cut out the side badges and put them on, but they were just too small and they didn't look very good, so I didn't bother. Next I'll detail these little tiny side indicators with chrome. Then these black vents at the front. This was actually the hardest part of this whole project. I was actually painting these details in the morning, and I have to say my hand is a little bit more shaky in the morning than it is in the evening. So I like to leave my detail painting till then. And finally I add some clear orange to those indicators that I painted chrome earlier. Onto those grubby plastic parts. As I mentioned before, I think this is spin for a swim in some muddy puddle. I'll just pop these wheels and axles out there, and then they'll be into the sink inside for a wash in some hot soapy water. And here they are, looking a lot cleaner, ready to do some more work on. Starting with the base, I'll just give that rusty suspension plate there a little going over with some steel wool. And next I paint the base black. I paint the rear lights with some chrome. And once this was dried, I painted over it with some clear red and clear orange paint. The interior I painted black, and then I painted in some details like the red seats, and I also detailed the motor. And here it is after detailing. And finally, here are those worn out looking old wheels. I don't know what's going on with the rims on those, but I'm going to be replacing them with some nicer ones. Unfortunately, I don't have any proper Ferrari wheels. I thought these were about the closest thing I did have. If I ever do get some in the future, I can easily take these off and swap them out. So here are all the parts of our Ferrari, refurbished, repainted and ready to go back together. While I'm reassembling it, let's just take a moment to look back and be reminded of what we started with. A proper die-cast disaster of a Matchbox Ferrari F40. It's got a chipped, worn out old paint job, scruffy wheels, bent spoiler, and worst of all, it's got that terrible opaque yellowed windscreen. This is an estate for one of the greatest supercars ever made to ever be in, even if it's only 2.5 inches long. Let's see if we can get it looking a bit tidier. And here it is, our finished, restored Matchbox Ferrari F40. It's now looking like a proper Ferrari with that nice new shiny red paint job. The spoiler's been straightened up there. It's had some detailing done. It's got a nice new set of wheels. And I think best of all, that terrible looking old windscreen has been tidied up and it isn't looking nearly so yellow anymore. This was a good fun restoration to do and I'm really pleased with how it's come out. Definitely looking much more like a Ferrari should now. You can let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. Before I go, I'll say a big thanks to everyone for their great comments and likes on my videos. Extra special thanks to my awesome Patreon supporters for helping to support the channel. If you'd like to help me keep making videos like this for you to watch, you can check out my Patreon page. There'll be a link in the description down below. There's also a link where you can get 10% off Starbond super glues. Thanks heaps for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more like it, remember to subscribe and click the bell so that you get notifications and updates. Give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends.
Thank you.